Hi, this is the solution to your quiz 2 and let me quickly take you through these questions. The first 10 questions were true and false questions. So the first question was the real interest rates in all the countries must be equal. Now, yeah, that is what we assumed in the class, but there's no reason why they would be equal, so that's false. Now, we discount real cash flows using real discount rate. Yes, that's true. If you assume the book value of debt to equal the market value of debt, then you're essentially assuming the cost of debt to equal the risk-free rate. No, you are assuming the cost of debt to equal the coupon rate, which will not be equal to the risk-free rate. So that's false. In the net debt method, we assume the cost of debt to equal the pre-tax cost of borrowings of the firm. No, that's wrong. We use a weighted average of the pre-tax cost of debt and the rate of interest you earn on your cash and marketable securities. Then cost of debt can be found out by dividing interest expense of the previous fiscal year with the average book value of borrowings. No, that's not correct, because you might have borrowed money after the previous balance sheet was prepared and might have repaid that entire borrowings. You might have borrowed a lot of money just before the current balance sheet was prepared. So this method would not give you the right average cost of borrowings. Next is in the gross debt method, we use the weighted average cost of debt and risk-free rate, rate as the cost of debt. No, in the gross debt method, we use just the pre-tax cost of debt as the cost of debt. A rights issue can be compared to a call option. Yes, though I didn't explicitly state it, but actually it's a call option because you have the right to buy certain number of shares at a certain price. And obviously, it's a call option. It's a little special type of a call option, and these types of call options which are issued by the companies, these are known as warrants. And then we can ignore the current liability and provisions while computing the cost of capital if the expense incurred in these liabilities are already subtracted while computing the EBIT. Now that's true, right? This is like the D2 that we used in the class. So the interest or any cost you are paying to serve this type of liabilities, if it has already been deducted while computing EBIT, then you don't have to include that in your cost of capital calculation. Next is one must consider current liability as a source of capital while finding the cost of capital, and if this is not done, then one will obtain a wrong value of equity. Now that's wrong, that's false. One must consider, no, that the problem is that this word one must consider, now that is obviously not correct, because it's not necessary. You can always ignore current liability, and as long as you are consistent in your cash flow calculation, you would still get the right value of equity. And last question, last true false question is, if the beta of a stock is 1, and the adjusted beta will also be equal to 1. Now that's true, because the adjusted beta equation is 1 by 3 plus 2 by 3 into the regression beta. So regression beta is 1, so essentially it boils down to 1 by 3 plus 2 by 3, and which is equal to 1.